Hey everyone, welcome to a really targeted core class today where we are skipping out flexion, extension, that real movement in the spine, and instead focusing on containment, stability, keeping the spine strong and in neutral and working the core around it. So this is really great for people who are coming back from injury, obviously depending what it is, checking in with your body movement, kind of osteo, physio, whatever you work with, to see what's going to suit you. But it's going to help you find a little bit more of that strength in the core, which can often help us with back issues. My postnatal friends, this is perfect. My prenatal friends, if you're not too far along, happy to lay down, also really great. And also really great for my shift working friends who are often under a lot of load physically while fatigued, working night shift, working long shifts, working 12-hour days, stuck on overtime. You still have a copious amount of weight on your body. Your deep abdominals are so important. So I know lots of you will be training in all sorts of different wonderful ways, but this kind of work can really complement you and help you keep injury free for longer wearing that kind of equipment, and to support your day-to-day life. So it'll be helpful for so many people. You can pick and choose little exercises to add to warm-ups, to strength classes, whatever you're doing. But anyway, we'll get into it. We're going to start laying down, coming down, feet on the ground, knees point up towards the ceiling, back of the head down. Just want you to shuffle down so you feel long in the spine. Taking our hands to our low belly, creating like a little diamond shape, so your fingertips are down towards the pubic bone and your thumbs are kind of around your belly button. Just start to take nice deep breaths here. Now, our first exercise today is just going to be some core engagement diaphragmatic breathing. So we take a big breath in, we expand everything. And as you exhale, I want you to draw the hip bones towards each other. Core pelvic floor draws in and up. Belly should feel a little bit firmer. Inhale, release off that effort, expand. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, core draws in, up, hip bones towards each other. Inhale, release. Two more. Exhale. In. Exhale, everything hugs in and up like a vacuum. Inhale, release off that effort. So we should have noticed, hopefully there, that simply just laying here, we're not moving the spine at all. That simple breath engagement, mind to muscle connection, we could engage through the core, deep abdominal starting to get involved. So that's what we're really going to be working today. I want you to think about length of the low spine. Arms are going to stack the shoulders. Our first exercise is our dead bug. So if you need to modify, feet come back to the ground and we can just work the arms, or if you're happy to, legs up above the hips. Now, our knees up above the hips. Now, I know in Pilates you're going to get told to have knees directly above your hips. That is more effort for the hip flexors, more effort for your deep core. If that's too strong for you, having the knees a little bit closer to you will make this more sustainable and achievable, and no one's going to get hurt. Arms up overhead, over shoulders. Now for our dead bug, the right arm's going to travel back behind us. I want you to think about pulling ribcage down towards the belly button and then bring your arm back over your shoulder. So that overhead movement is going to be engaging the core, ribcage pulls down, now in. Now our job is to keep the low spine long, not flat and glued to the ground. There is that natural curvature of the low back, but it is drawing everything in and up. Now, if you're happy to, we can add on here. So next time your left arm goes behind you, your right arm extends. Now, the lower it goes, the harder this will be. So you might stay quite high. Breathing when you feel effort, yeah? So some of us, that's going to be on the extension. Otherwise, it's to return. I really want you to think, wrapping the side waist in and down. Belly's pulling in and down rather than popping up. Last 3. 2. Let's go for one more. Hug the knees in, maybe gentle rock side to side. So core should be feeling a little bit more engaged. We're going to come up and over. Now, it's almost like we're working that position, but now in a 4-point kneel position. So you're on hands and knees, shoulders are stacking above your wrists, hips are stacking above your knees. And we're going to work our bird dog. So we're still taking limbs away from each other, but now we're obviously supported in this position. Belly's drawing up and away from the ground now as we find length with the low back. So we're not arching or rounding the spine at all. So from here, right hand's going to extend forward, pinky finger's going to find the ground, left leg extends back, toe finds the ground. Now this might be enough. You might simply extend and then return. Extend and return. Or we can extend open, lift, lower, return. Extend, lift, lower, return. Try to keep your back as long as you can. If you're happy to, we're going to stay out, simply lifting and lowering. Belly's hugging in. Let's go for 7. Last 2. Last one. Bring both hands, both knees down, maybe a little sway of the hip side to side. We'll do that work on the other side. So belly's drawing in. Again, left fingertips extend, pinky finger down. Right toes extend back, big toe down. From here, you might simply just draw back in, extend out. Draw back in, extend out. Or we extend, lift, lower, return. Extend, lift, lower, return. Belly is pulling in and up the whole time. If you're happy to, we're going to stay extended, simply lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. Exhale to lift, inhale, return. Last 6. Belly drawing in, push into your right shoulder, 3, 2, and time. Finding a child's pose, hips heavy back to the heels, knees wide. Maybe a little roll of the wrists. We're going to come into one more movement on our wrists. If you need to, you can be on fists, absolutely. So again, working the core without moving the spine here. So our job is to core draws in and up to keep that stability through the spine. Now you're either on hands, or you can be on fists, or you can be on fingertips if you're quite strong in your hands. Now from here, I want you to draw belly up and away from the ground. Tuck your toes under, then you're going to push into the hands, push into the toes as you lift your knees a millimeter, an inch, whatever off the ground, and then lower. You can release the core engagement. So big breath in, exhale, inhale, return. Now continuing like this, inhale to lower and release. Exhale, push, belly draws in, core pivot floor in. You can stay with this, or might need to move a little bit further forward. You can tuck the toes, hover, hold. If you can contain that, extending out to a high plank position, rebend the knees, lower the knees down. Now that is only if your spine is happy to hold that load. So if you're working with an injury, and that's why this kind of movement's better for you, think about how it's feeling for you. Core pelvic floor draws in, tuck the toes, hold, extend. If you're adding on, rebend, lower down. Let's go for 3 more, whether it's just that knee tabletop hover, or you're adding that plank extension. Two more. Last one. And time. Sit back to the heels, little roll the shoulders. So we have one more movement. I'm going to use my weight for this one just because the load is really what adds the effort for the core. Now if you don't have weights, a set of cans would be perfect. As I said, I've got a 1 kilo or 2 1 kilos here. You could use wrist weights on the wrists for this, absolutely. Just adding that little bit more load. And if, again, working with injury, if load is too much, you might simply do this body weight. But for most of us, we'll get a little bit more out of it if we are able to add even just a little bit of load. So we're going to work our Parloff press. The job for the core is to contain, contain, contain as we take weight or no weight, but the limbs away from the midsection. So we're going to be standing up on our knees. I want you to think about hips above the knees, a little bit of core, a little bit of glute engagement. And you're going to have, if you've got 2 weights, you can hold them together. If you have wrist weights on, just kind of clasp your hands, or 2 cans, whatever. Or 1 heavier dumbbell if you only have 1, like a 2, 3, 4 kilo. From here, think about rib to hip connection. Keep that as you press the weight out in front of you. Now, I want you to resist the urge to do this. Resist the urge to do this. You want to think about everything is stacked. Nothing else is moving except your arms. And as you do that, you should feel the core switch on. And if you can't, maybe you're moving too much and you're allowing the core to be soft, which will therefore let the body kind of take over what it wants to do. For most of us, it will be to lean back or to flare the rib cage. So pull ribs in. Let's go for 10. This is a great one for pregnant and postnatal friends. I think I've got 2 more. All right, now we're going to do that again with the option to add weights to the dead bugs, to the bird dogs, and of course to the Parloff presses. So the tabletop hover won't have weight. It's up to you though, you do not have to use weight. If that felt really strong, please stay with that. Core work is always hard, right? But if that felt like you were sort of holding on for dear life and really working to maintain form, then please skip out the weight. As I said, you can try with hand weights, which I think are about 500 grams, so it could be a nice place to start. Otherwise, we meet back for our dead bugs. So knees up above the hips. Again, don't be afraid to bring your knees a little bit closer to you. You might get smited by the Pilates gods, but you're going to feel a little bit more stable, and you're probably, see how my low back, you're probably going to be able to maintain a little bit more length in your low spine if you're struggling with that core engagement today. Arms up over the shoulders. Now again, stay here and just start to feel that extra load. I'm working to pull my ribs down as I take the arms overhead. Yeah. If I don't control, you notice that big separation, that's what we don't want. So the front body shouldn't really move as you take the weight away. Now you might stay with that, or you can add that leg extension. I'm going to cue us to stay quite high today rather than low, because most of us will struggle to keep that really, really nice form. I have an over arched low back, so for me, I really have to be careful how low I take my legs, because I will lose my form pretty quickly. Let's go for another 12. Now this shouldn't be, the most challenging class. We are thinking about rebuilding stability and control in the core here for whatever reason. Injury, pregnancy, time away from dedicated core work. 6. 3. 2. Oh, last one. And time. So that should have added a little bit more effort in that movement for you. It's a good way to progress. Even if it's not today, maybe another day. Now obviously you only need one of your weights at a time, so you can just take your weight off to the side. We'll start with our right arm. So right hand's going to be forward. This time obviously you're going to be gripping your weight, so palms facing in. You do not have to use your weight. Left toes press back. Now we simply might just return and extend. You'll even notice that additional load with the core. Otherwise we take it out, hold, belly in, lift, lower, return. Obviously this is going to be working the shoulder. Whoa, it's windy here. My gosh. Extend, lift, lower, return. Belly in. Your glutes are also going to feel this. If you're happy to, stay out, extended, lift and lower. Let's do 12 reps. Does not have to be the highest ones you've ever done. Really containing. 7. This is too much for your shoulder. Absolutely skip the weight as well. 3, 2, last one. Switching sides. Maybe a little roll the shoulders, wrists, whatever you need. This time, left arm is forward, right toes are back. Maybe it's just simply returning, extending, returning, extending. Now, no returning from injury, especially in the spine or even after pregnancy, you can feel really, really vulnerable. So these movements here, while for some of us who are in a kind of, I guess, stronger or more stable era, might be like, this is quite cruisy. But I remember when I did my low back multiple times, come back from pregnancy, movement like this would be like, oh my God, am I going to hurt myself? So stay there as long as you need. Otherwise, it's lifting, lowering, and return. Extend, lift, lower, turn, extend, lift, lower, return. Now maybe you were staying extended, push into your right hand, simply lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. Got 12. 7. 3. My right shoulder is burning. And time. I did just feel my full body kettlebell class, my shoulders. Okay. Back to our tabletop hovers. So we don't need weights for this one. Obviously our hands are going to be on the ground. So maybe taking a moment to roll out through the shoulders, roll out through the wrists. All right. From here, knees underneath the hips, tuck the toes, take a breath in. As you exhale, core pelvic floor in, tuck the toes, hover the knees, return. Let the breath expand the rib cage. Inhale, exhale. Now remember, you might stay here, or as you exhale, tuck the toes, hover, hold, maybe a high plank, if that's okay for your low spine and the load, your low back can take that additional load. Whoa, kind of did that all in one, which is not what I would tell you to do. 3 more. Last one, and we'll hold there. Now, we have our power presses to go. So you might go a little bit heavier if in the second round if you have access to slightly heavier weights. Otherwise, again, we'll just go with what we have, whether it's wrist weights, whether it's just body weight today, feeling this movement. But again, crown of the head, shoulders, shoulders, hips, hips, knees, squeezing of the glutes, belly hugging in, rib cage to hips, press out, back in. Now, I always say in classes, if you almost imagine you're going to lean forward a millimeter and notice how much more engaged the front line of the body is. Let's go for 6. Everything wraps in and up. Last 3. And time. We are done. So I hope whatever it is that's drawn you to this class, whether it's injury, whether it's pregnancy, postnatal, whether you are one of my shift working friends who is carrying a lot of weight, and just really, really bringing in those deep abdominals is super, super important to help you and obviously complement all the other work you're doing. It's so windy here. But I hope even just to have in mind when you're doing other things or whatever, that deep core engagement, and you can chuck these little exercises in your warm-ups or whatever you're doing to help you feel a little just bit more awake and aware of your core, will help you in the rest of your training so much as well. But I hope this was beneficial, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.